Today, I'm going to reveal something almost nobody talks about. When garlic is placed in the three right spots in your home, it causes the person who envies you to simply fall away. And the most unsettling part is this: it happens quietly, no arguments, no confrontation, no explanations, just energy working in your favor. But pay close attention, because if you place it in the wrong spot, you could end up feeding the very force you're trying to cut off. Before we go any further, I want you to do something very simple, but incredibly powerful. Write this in the comments right now. Today, I cut envy and activate my protection. This isn't just a pretty sentence. When you say this with intention, it's as if your energy is speaking out loud, saying, "Enough! Today, I take my power back, and I reclaim my home." So write it. Today, I cut envy and activate my protection, and allow this ritual to begin working for you starting now. As you write, I want you to picture, or even see on the screen, a very simple scene. A dark wooden table, a candle burning, casting a soft golden glow, a small bowl of coarse salt, and a mature, steady hand holding a single clove of garlic, like a quiet guardian. This isn't a movie scene. It's something you can do in your own home, using what you already have in your kitchen, making it clear that from today on, envy no longer gets a say at your door, in your kitchen, or in your rest. What I'm about to say may sound familiar. People come into your home, and instead of leaving behind calm, the space feels heavier. Small conversations turn into big arguments over nothing. Money comes in, but somehow slips right back out. And at night, a strange kind of exhaustion, racing thoughts, that feeling that something is blocking your path, even when everything looks fine on the outside. A lot of people get used to living this way. They think it's age. They think it's just personalities. They call it bad luck. But what almost no one realizes is this: when you place garlic in the first correct spot in your home, it's like raising an invisible, unmistakable boundary between what truly supports you and what only drains you. And that's where we begin. Because if there's one place in the house where garlic must work first, it's the front door. Sometimes it looks like just another door, but energetically, it's a portal between what stays outside and what you allow into your life. It's not just people who pass through there. Words pass through, thoughts, looks, intentions. That's often where envy enters, dressed like a polite visit, where judgment comes in, comparison, that heavy energy you feel but can't quite explain. Notice if this sounds familiar. Someone comes over. The conversation seems fine. Everything feels normal. But after they leave, the house feels off. The air feels heavier. You feel tired in a way you weren't before. Sometimes even a headache that starts out of nowhere. That out of nowhere is almost never out of nowhere. That's why the first place you'll place the garlic is at your home's main entrance. How to do the doorway ritual? There are two ways to do this. Choose the one that feels most honest to your heart. First option: take a whole head of garlic, unpeeled. Hold it in your hands for a few seconds and take 3 deep, slow breaths. As you breathe, focus on a simple intention. Something like, "Only what brings me good is allowed in here. Heavy energy stays outside." After that, place the head of garlic behind your front door. It can be tucked into a corner, resting on a small plate, or inside a little container. There's no need to show it to anyone. It's there as a silent guard. Second option: if you want something even stronger, you can tie the head of garlic with a red string, ribbon, twine, whatever you have, and hang it on the inside of the door right above eye level, as if it's watching who comes in and who leaves. If someone notices and asks about it, You can say it's just an old custom, but you will know it's much more than that. Either way, what matters most isn't how the ritual looks. It's the intention you place into that moment. And whenever you feel the atmosphere getting heavy again, or notice the garlic looks too wilted, darkened, or off, that's a sign it has already absorbed what it needed to absorb. On that day, quietly thank it, discard it away from your home, and place a new one in its place. Mrs. Lucia and the neighbor who drained everything. Let me tell you a story about Mrs. Lucia. She's 72 years old, lives alone now, and she's one of those women who spent her whole life holding everyone else together. But recently, she started feeling like something had shifted in her home. A neighbor began stopping by more often, knocking on the door just to chat. Yet every time she left, Mrs. Lucia felt physically heavy, mentally foggy, and at night, sleep simply wouldn't come. Bills never seemed to line up. Small problems turned into major stress, and she started telling herself it was just her age, that she was getting weaker. One day, while talking to someone at a local outdoor market, she heard about placing a head of garlic behind the door as protection. She didn't light candles. She didn't say long prayers. She didn't wish harm on anyone. She just took a head of garlic from her kitchen, held it in her hands, and whispered, "Only what's good for me is welcome here. Everything else stays outside." She placed the garlic behind the door and left it there. That same week, something began to change. The neighbor who was always stopping by suddenly seemed too busy. The visit slowed down. The house grew quieter, not a lonely silence, but a peaceful one. A small pension adjustment came through, something she wasn't even expecting, and most importantly, she started sleeping through the night again, something that hadn't happened in months. Some people hear a story like this and say, "Oh, that's just a coincidence." But when you understand the power of clear intention, supported by a meaningful symbol placed at your front door, you start to realize that many times it isn't coincidence. It's energy moving. And what's most interesting is that a few weeks later, her daughter said during a visit, "Mom, I don't know what you did in this place, but the house feels different. Lighter, more you." She had no idea about the garlic behind the door. The energy knew. And if, while I was telling you, Mrs. Lucia's story, you found yourself thinking about your front door, if a specific visit came to mind, a certain look that lingered just a little too long, write this in the comments below as a commitment to yourself. At my door, only what's good for me is welcome. Write it, not for me, but so your home can hear it, so the universe can register it, and so your energy can align with that decision. Now, protecting the entrance already changes a lot, but it doesn't help much to guard the door if the heart of the home is dim, cluttered, and vibrating in scarcity. In the next step, I'll show you the second place where garlic works quietly, reigniting your inner fire and beginning to move directly into the energy of prosperity. That's where many people realize the issue was never just bad luck, but how the energy of the kitchen was slowly forgotten over time. After understanding what happens at the front door, it's important to know why garlic has the power to do this. Otherwise, it can sound like just another folk belief. And what I want here with you isn't empty superstition. It's spiritual awareness. Garlic has always been there. In the kitchen, at the grocery store, seasoning everyday meals. But since ancient times, people realized it was much more than a strong ingredient. Across many spiritual traditions, garlic is seen as a natural protective charm. In Eastern wisdom, it's understood as an element capable of cutting through dense energy, cleansing the energetic field, and forming a kind of shield against what arrives invisibly: thoughts, envy, the evil eye, unresolved intentions. In many old European villages, it was common to see strings of garlic hanging by doorways, not only for cooking, but to ward off unwanted influences, unwelcome visits, and even certain illnesses that were believed to come from energetic imbalance. And if you look closely, you'll see this pattern all over the world. In rural areas of Latin America, even today, many people keep garlic near the door or in the kitchen as a symbol of protection and good fortune. Our grandparents may not have used words like energy field, but they felt it in their bodies. When garlic was in the right place, the home felt safer. Why does garlic carry so much power? Energetically, garlic holds a strong, grounded, deeply earthy vibration. Its smell, which many people find overpowering, acts like an energetic signal. It marks territory, it sets boundaries. And symbolically, it repels anything that doesn't arrive with clarity or light. There's also this: garlic grows underground. Spiritually, that links it to roots, to foundation, to what's hidden and needs to be drawn out. It absorbs what can't be seen. It pulls toward itself what lingers in the space, like a sponge for heavy energy, while at the same time protecting the essence of the person who uses it with respect. And the most beautiful part is that garlic doesn't need complicated words or theatrical rituals. The power is already there. What activates that power is how you place it and where you choose to place it, and the intention that rises from your heart in that moment. That's why, when you place garlic in specific points around your home, it isn't childish magic. It's symbolism joined with awareness. You're telling the universe, the energy of your home, and yourself: this is where I care. This is where I protect. This is where I choose what enters and what stays. The grandma who just knew things. Maybe this reminds you of a story, too. Those grandmothers or older aunts who, without books or courses, already had their quiet little garlic rituals. One would tuck a clove of garlic into a child's pocket so they wouldn't catch the evil eye. Another would leave a small dish of garlic and salt on top of the refrigerator and say it was to keep prosperity in the house. Most people from their generation didn't explain why. They just said, "Do it this way. It's better." Today, we finally have the language to understand what they felt instinctively. Garlic sets boundaries. It cuts through heavy energy, and it clears the path so that what's good can stay. When you recognize this, you stop seeing garlic as something ordinary and start seeing it as a spiritual ally that's always been there, waiting for you to look at it differently. Up to this point, you've seen garlic working at the front door, like a silent doorman, filtering what comes in and what stays outside. You've also understood that it's not just a seasoning, but a simple, accessible amulet charged with meaning and presence. But there's one place in the home where garlic's energy does something even more delicate. It speaks to your inner fire, to the way you nourish yourself, to your motivation, and to your prosperity. That place is the kitchen. Many people look at the kitchen and see nothing more than a functional space. The stove, the sink, pots and pans, dishes waiting to be washed. But energetically, the kitchen is the altar of the home, the place where food is transformed, where fire is lit to sustain life. When the kitchen feels dim, cluttered, or forgotten, it's very common for motivation, courage, and even the sense of deserving abundance to fade along with it. In the next step, I'll show you how garlic works in the kitchen as a true guardian of your inner fire, and how one simple action can begin to realign not just the energy of your home, but also the way money and opportunities flow in your life. And I'll share the story of a woman who only realized her kitchen had gone dormant when her finances started to feel it, and who watched everything shift after placing a single clove of garlic in exactly the right spot. The kitchen, the energetic heart that feeds or drains your prosperity. If the front door is the shield, the kitchen is the heart of the home. This is where raw food becomes strength, where the fire is lit, where a family's energy is nourished or slowly worn down. That's why, when the kitchen falls asleep, prosperity falls asleep with it. And it doesn't matter if you live alone, don't cook very often, or rarely turn on the stove. Energetically, the kitchen remains the central point of abundance. That's why the second place where garlic needs to be is right here, in the kitchen, close to warmth, fire, and the preparation of food. How to place garlic in the kitchen. Simple and powerful. Take 1 peeled clove of garlic and place it in a small dish or saucer, along with a pinch of coarse salt. Set that dish near the stove, on a high shelf, or in a corner that receives some of the room's warmth. Why peeled? Because in the kitchen, garlic needs to be exposed so it can act as a vibrational filter, absorbing tension, fatigue, thoughts of scarcity, and everything that slowly drains the energy of a household. And there's one very important detail here. Change this garlic every week. When the clove looks wilted, too dry, darkened, or the salt has hardened into clumps, it has done its job. Thank it quietly and discard it away from your home. Then place a new clove in its place. There's no need to light anything, no complicated prayers. Just place the garlic with respect and allow it to do its work for you. Mrs. Helena's dimmed kitchen, age 68. Mrs. Helena is 68 years old and always loved to cook. But when she retired, something inside her slowly began to shut down. The kitchen, once alive and bright, became too quiet, almost forgotten. She would say, "I just don't feel like it anymore." And along with that lack of motivation came discouragement, mental clutter, and even money started slipping away through expenses she couldn't quite explain. One day, while watching a video about energetic protection, she decided to try something simple. She took a clove of garlic, placed it on a small dish with salt, and set it beside the stove. She didn't expect anything. She just placed it there, took a deep breath, and whispered, "May my kitchen feed me again." That same week, her motivation began to return. She felt the urge to straighten things up, to organize drawers, to start cooking her favorite meals again. And the most curious part, an old client reached out to Helena, asking for sewing work she had almost forgotten she used to do. Unexpected money, clean, easy, found its way back to her. The kitchen came back to life, and along with it, so did her life. One of my subscribers told me that after placing garlic with salt in her kitchen, within 3 days, the salt had risen, clumping together and filling with bubbles. She realized that the space was responding, releasing old stored-up tension. They replaced the garlic, and the house immediately felt lighter. Sometimes it's like that. Small changes reveal that the energy had been asking for care all along. If you want to reignite the inner fire of your home, write this in the comments. I activate the abundance of my kitchen. This phrase works like a decree, an invitation for the energy of prosperity to begin circulating again. Now, pay close attention to what comes next, because protecting the front door blocks what comes from the outside, and activating the kitchen reignites your inner flow. But there's one place in the house where energy quietly leaks, drips away, drains, disappears. It's the most sensitive spot of all, and it's also where garlic works most powerfully to clear and release what's been stuck. Most people have never thought about this, But it's exactly there that your energy may be getting drained every single day. And that's where we're going now. After protecting the door and rekindling the kitchen's energy, there's one last space to look at, a place almost no one connects to spirituality. Yet, energetically, it's one of the most delicate areas in the entire home. I'm talking about the bathroom. At first glance, the bathroom seems like a purely practical space, showering, brushing your teeth, using the toilet, taking care of your body. But from an energetic point of view, the bathroom is where you release everything that no longer serves you. What the body doesn't absorb, what the mind lets go of through tears, what the heart can't quite say out loud. It's where you walk in carrying weight and walk out lighter. Or sometimes you walk in tired and come out feeling even worse. The bathroom as a vibrational drain. Imagine the bathroom as a large energetic drain. Everything the house and the people in it accumulate throughout the day, worries, illness, heavy thoughts, swallowed anger, unspoken words, part of that releases there, in the shower, in the toilet, in the running water. The issue is that many times the body releases, but the energy stays. It lingers in the tile, in the fogged-up mirror, in the stale air, in that sense of heaviness you can't quite explain. That's why so many people tell me, I walk into the bathroom and feel a tightness, something off, like the space itself feels dense, loaded. That's not imagination. That's your body recognizing that there's energy there that never fully cleared. The woman who left the shower, feeling heavier. Let me tell you about Marta. She's 62 years old, and she used to say something very specific. It feels like I step into the shower to relax, and I come out more exhausted than when I went in. She would shower, but her mind kept racing. Her chest stayed tight, and at night, sleep wouldn't come. Every time she entered the bathroom, she felt as if the air grew thicker, like something invisible was clinging to her body. At first, she thought it was just in her head. But as time went on, the feeling only intensified. It was only when she began using garlic in a very specific way in that space that the energy of the bathroom finally shifted, and her body felt the difference, the role of garlic in the bathroom. If at the front door garlic acts as a guardian, and in the kitchen it protects your inner fire, in the bathroom, garlic works as an astral filter. It draws toward itself what lingers in the space, as if it were a magnet for anything dense, heavy, or stuck. It's like you're saying, what needs to go, let it go. What needs to be cleansed, be cleansed. What isn't mine doesn't stay here. And this is where the third secret place comes in, the point where garlic and water work together to transform the bathroom into a space that feels clearer, lighter, and most importantly, safer for you. Many people feel like life itself is heavy, that sleep won't come, that thoughts won't slow down. But they never imagine that part of that density might be getting fed day after day inside their own bathroom. In the next step, I'll show you exactly how to use garlic in this space in a very simple way to transform the bathroom into a place of true release, not silent accumulation. And I'll share the story of a woman who only realized how much energy she was carrying from others when she watched the water in a simple glass with garlic change color completely. The bathroom is where you let go, but it's also where a lot of energy can get trapped. It's where you release what the body no longer wants, what the mind can't carry anymore, and what the heart held onto all day without even realizing it. The body lets go, but the energy sometimes stays. It stays in the still air, in the warm steam, in the tile, in the mirror, in the water as it runs down the drain. That's why so many people tell me I walk into the bathroom and feel a weight, pressure in my chest, like the room itself feels charged. Your body feels it before your mind can explain it, and that's why the third secret place for garlic is right here. How to place garlic in the bathroom, the strongest method. Here, you'll need just 3 simple items. 1 clear glass cup, 1 peeled clove of garlic, clean water. If you feel the space is especially heavy, you may also add 1 teaspoon of coarse salt or a few drops of white vinegar. The ritual is simple. Take the glass cup, fill it halfway with water, gently place the clove of garlic into the glass. Set the glass on the floor in a corner of the bathroom, preferably behind the door or near the drain, and that's it. No stirring, no prayers, no spoken words. The garlic and the water do the work for you. Leave the glass there for 7 days, untouched. On the 7th day, you'll look at the water, and that's where things become truly revealing. Rebecca's story, age 59. Rebecca, 59 years old, was going through a difficult period. She slept poorly, had heavy dreams, and every time she stepped into the bathroom, she felt as if something clung to her body. She thought, it must be stress, exhaustion. Until one day, while talking with her daughter, she heard about the garlic and water ritual. She didn't fully believe it, but decided to try. She placed the glass with water and garlic in a corner of the bathroom. She didn't say anything. She didn't light a candle. She didn't ask for protection. She just placed it there. On the 2nd day, she said her breathing felt lighter. On the 3rd day, her sleep changed. She slept through the night for the first time in months. On the 7th day, she picked up the glass carefully and was shocked. The water was cloudy, filled with bubbles, and the garlic had turned completely dark. It was as if the glass had pulled in everything that had been stuck in the space. She threw everything away far from her home, washed the glass, and repeated the ritual the following week. And she said something I've never forgotten. For the first time, I felt like the energy of my home breathed with me. Signs the ritual is working. If the garlic darkens quickly, if the water turns cloudy, if bubbles appear, if the smell changes, this isn't a bad sign. It's a sign the environment was heavy and that the ritual is pulling that energy out. When this happens, you're creating space for a kind of peace your body recognizes immediately. Before we move into the final ritual, write this in the comments. I clear my energy and release what isn't mine. This affirmation is powerful. It works like an energetic command, aligning your body, your home, and your mind with the cleansing the garlic is doing for you. Now that you understand the 3 places where garlic works with the greatest strength, it's time to learn a ritual that's simple, yet deeply profound. One that seals everything you've already activated. A silent ritual that many wise women used when they wanted to protect their energetic field while opening paths for prosperity at the same time. And I'll show you exactly how to do it, step by step. Now that you've activated the 3 most important points in your home, there's a simple ritual that has long been used to seal this process and reinforce protection around your personal energy. It's a quiet ritual, done with items you already have, yet it works like a vibrational seal for everything you've awakened so far. Ritual elements. You'll need just 4 things. 1 clear glass cup, 1 peeled clove of garlic, 3 tablespoons of coarse salt or sea salt. Optional. A few drops of white vinegar if you feel your energy is especially heavy. That's it. First, take the glass cup. Feel its weight in your hands. Fill it halfway with clean water. Now take the coarse salt and add it slowly, 1 spoon at a time, as if each grain falling into the water is carrying away whatever has been blocking your energy. Now take a deep breath. pick up the clove of garlic. Hold it in the palm of your hand for a few seconds. Imagine it absorbing everything you no longer want to carry. Fatigue, worries, emotional weight, other people's impressions, thoughts that don't belong to you. And when you feel ready, let the garlic drop into the glass. Do this in silence, as if by releasing the garlic, you're also releasing everything that isn't yours. Where to place the glass? Choose a spot in your home where you spend a lot of time or where you feel the energy tends to stagnate. It can be in the living room, your rest space, your home office, or even the kitchen, as long as it's not too close to the stove or open flame. Place the glass there and leave it for a full 24 hours, untouched. No stirring, no blowing, no handling. The garlic and salt will work together to draw out of the space what's invisible to the eyes, but heavy on the body and the heart. Signs the ritual worked after 24 hours. Observe the glass closely. If the water is cloudy, if bubbles appear, if foam forms, if the salt rises or the garlic darkens, that's an excellent sign. It means the ritual worked. The heavy energy was released and absorbed there. Never touch the contents with your hands. Dispose of everything away from your home, an outdoor drain, a distant trash bin, or anywhere not close to your front door. Then wash the glass and use it normally again. But before you repeat this ritual, there's something very important I need to warn you about. There are two common mistakes that can completely drain garlic of its power and may even turn the energy against you without you realizing it. And I see many people make these mistakes precisely when they need protection the most. In the next section, I'll show you exactly what those mistakes are and how to avoid them so that all the work you've done up to this point isn't wasted. Now that you've activated the complementary ritual, there's something very serious I need to tell you. Because as powerful as garlic is as a natural protector, there are two behaviors that completely cancel out its effect. And if you fall into either one, instead of cleansing your home's energy, you may actually be attracting exactly what you're trying to keep away without even realizing it. And this is where most people go wrong. Mistake number 1, using old, moldy, or damaged garlic. A lot of people grab a forgotten head of garlic from a drawer, bruised, wilted, darkened, and place it around the house thinking it'll help anyway. It won't. Garlic, by nature, is an energy absorber. If it's already spoiled, it doesn't absorb negativity from the environment. It spreads its own. It's like using a dirty filter. Nothing gets clean, everything becomes heavier. Always use garlic that is firm, pale, and healthy. When it darkens because of the ritual, that's when you know it worked. Mistake number 2, placing garlic with fear, desperation, or anger. Garlic responds to the intention of the person placing it. If you pick up garlic while trembling, thinking, "My God, someone is wishing me harm," you distort its vibration. Fear blocks garlic's power. Calm activates it. That's why, before placing garlic anywhere in your home, take a deep breath. And remember this, garlic is the channel, but the power is you. Advanced tips to multiply garlic's effect. Tip number 1. Do the ritual on days of emotional release. After an argument, after a draining visit, after a day when nothing seemed to flow. That's the perfect moment. Garlic works like a vibrational reset. Tip number 2. Always thank the garlic. When you replace it, gratitude is an energetic accelerator. You can say something simple like, "Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for opening my paths." Gratitude creates space for prosperity to arrive. Tip number 3. Keep your home. Organized energy doesn't flow through chaos. Disorder traps stagnation. Order invites movement. Garlic helps but it doesn't work miracles in a cluttered home. Open the windows. Clean what you can. Remove broken or useless items. Tip for a 4. Don't mix garlic with opposing symbols. Don't place garlic right next to fresh flowers, delicate altars, or symbols meant to represent softness and peace. Garlic cuts. Garlic cleans. Garlic clears the way. Each object works within a different vibration. Tip 5. Trust your intuition. If one day you feel the need to replace the garlic earlier than planned or place it somewhere unexpected, do it. Intuition is how energy guides you. Before we move into the final recap, write this in the comments. I use garlic with awareness. This phrase energetically seals that you're using garlic with intention, with clarity, not on autopilot. And when you write it, you reinforce to the universe that you're ready for stability, protection, and prosperity. Now that you understand the 3 places, the complementary ritual, and the mistakes that can break the process, there's one final step left: to recall everything clearly, so you never again allow your energy to be drained without noticing. And most importantly, to prepare you for the next ritual, because there is a very common household item that quietly dries up your home's prosperity without you realizing it. And that's what I'll talk about in the closing. Take a deep breath with me for a moment. Let's bring together everything you activated today. First, you learned the power of garlic when it's placed in the 3 correct places in the home. You understood that this isn't superstition. It's awareness paired with very ancient symbols. At the front door, garlic acts as a guardian. It stays there silently, filtering what comes in, holding at the threshold what doesn't serve you, and allowing in only what nourishes your life. In the kitchen, garlic protects your inner fire, your nourishment, your vitality, the energy of abundance that grows when you care for yourself and for what you place in your body. When the kitchen awakens, prosperity begins to move in a different way. In the bathroom, garlic works as an invisible filter, pulling out everything the body tries to release, but energy insists on holding on to: fatigue, dense thoughts, emotional residue. And beyond those 3 points, you also learned a complementary ritual with the glass, the water, the salt, and the garlic to seal the cleansing of your home and help your energy reorganize itself. You also learned which mistakes can cancel all of this out: spoiled garlic, intention driven by fear, a home in complete chaos, and mixing symbols without awareness. More important than memorizing every detail is remembering this one thing: garlic is a channel. The real power always begins with you, with your decision to protect yourself, to cleanse, to respect your limits, and to make room for a lighter, more prosperous life. If you made it this far, it wasn't by accident. There's a part of you that no longer accepts carrying invisible weight or going to sleep with the feeling that something is always blocking your path. Today, you didn't just learn a ritual with garlic. You learned how to speak to the energy of your home in a different way. You learned how to say no to envy, to draining visitors, to energetic clutter that builds up day after day. And if this message touched your heart, I want you to leave one final affirmation in the comments as a spiritual seal for this moment. Write this: garlic is my guardian and my home is protected. When you write it, you're telling yourself, your home, and the universe, I choose protection, clarity, and abundance. If this message resonated with you, give it a like. That helps this wisdom reach more people who also need to protect their energy. And if you're not yet part of this community, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next rituals and teachings. Here, every video is a step toward reclaiming your spiritual strength. And remember what I'm about to tell you now, because in the next video, I'll show you a very common household object that many people keep in the wrong place at home, thinking it's harmless. But energetically, it works like a prosperity drain, drying up money, motivation, and opportunities without the person ever realizing it. If you want to continue on this path of protecting your home and opening your life's flow, pay close attention to the next ritual. It may explain things you've been feeling for years. Thank you for being here, for opening your heart, and for caring for your energy with such intention. May garlic protect you. May your home breathe with relief, and may prosperity, starting today, find open doors waiting to receive it. We'll meet again in the next video, in the next ritual, in the next step towards your best self. Until then,